all we can hear is... Right, oh, no, stop. Hey. Right guys, well welcome back to MK Sportscars here. We're going to start off in the workshop today, but first of all, if you're into kit cars, it's just landed on my desk today. The latest edition of Complete Kit Car magazine, always a good read. That's my lunchtime reading today. Can't wait to get into that and have a look. Talking about kit cars, RX-5. Well, we had a little YouTube even sensation person come down, JM on Cars. Great guy, great character, got over 250,000 followers. Well, he came down, we sent him off with a car for the whole day, and he done a little video on it, and it's got quite a good following actually, and it's a really good write-up. So if you want to know more about the RX-5 and I suppose completely unbiased opinion about the car, and I'll send the link up there for you. It's a good watch. Right, well, it's Busa time. Busa time. We love a Busa engine. Gen 2 Busa engine here. Well, we've had a little bit of comments about, obviously we're working with R&M, we're partnering with them on the Cup car, on the Cup 200, and the Wet Sump system that we use on the Cup cars. Great bit of kit. We know it all works. Plenty of track time, plenty of kilometres on all the cars, testing on, well, most of the major circuits now, Brands, Snetterton, Donington, etc., Pembury. It's all been tested out, and it's really great, and we know it works. But you wanted to know, how does it all go together? Well, do you know what? We've done a little video for you. Take a look at this.
And now we're going to talk reverse motors. Reverse motors, now. So I've had some feedback from you about the bike engine reverse that we did last week. So I'm just going to show you a little bit more about the whole reverse system, how you set it up and how we wire it up in a car. So we have a sprocket. This sprocket has got two different sizes, and the sprocket comes with diff side and prop shaft side written on it. So the diff side goes on, and you can feel that it's the diff side, because if you get it round the wrong way, the prop shaft side is a lot bigger and it wiggles. So how we do the reverse, so I've got myself a diff and I fit the sprocket, so the sprocket is sandwiched between the prop and the differential, as you can see there. Now what we then when we do, I'm going to try and hold and balance all this lot, but then we put the motor underneath. I'll have to show you on the top because I can't get the underneath, but the motor then rigs up to the sprocket there like that, and what it'll do, it'll fire out. So the motor sits here, and then when it's on, it will then fire out into the sprocket drive, and that will fire you backwards. While I'm here, I'm going to show you how the prop shaft attaches to the Busa engine. So we've got a sprocket adapter on here. Now this is our standard sprocket adapter. This is where your normal chain drive would go. So we put the sprocket adapter on there, and the PCD of that butts up to the sprocket drive. So you've got one end coming out of the Busa gearbox, and the other end of the prop shaft goes onto the differential, and it's sandwiched between the sprocket so that you can get an electric reverse. Now let's talk wiring up the electric reverse. School time now. So here's my drawing of, hopefully you can understand the wiring diagram. So this is how we wire the reverse. Now what we're doing with this is we've got two switches for the reverse. One is the switch to turn the reverse light on, and the other one is the momentary switch to fire you or instigate the motor and basically ignite the motor. So what we're doing is we are pressing on with the latching switch to put the reverse light on, and then pressing the momentary switch to make it go backwards. We do have a fail-safe, which is what this relay is in here. So from the engine, we use the neutral switch, and we splice out of the neutral switch, and in 0.85 of your relay, so it's just standard 4-pin relay, we have 0.85, that is your earth. So this goes to earth, this switch here. That'll be your earth. You've got your 12 volts coming in. That makes sure that this is all ignited up, and this will fire backwards when you are in neutral only. So this is our little fail-safe. So it's probably good to implement that into your car. I've also drawn the starter, or the motor, the electric motor that we run. This is then joined by the thick red cable directly to the battery. There are no fuses in the thick red cable, and then you would put a fuse in line with these other 12-volt cables.
One Busa to another Busa. Well, we had a whole bike in here. Customer wanted one. He's ordered up a nice kit from us. It's going to be the Sport 200 car based. Little Gen 2 that's going in it, low mileage. And we stripped the bike down. And guess what? We've done another video for that. Take a look at this. Right, here we go guys, Indy Classic time. Got another car in the workshop here. Busy as always, they seem to be coming in. Well, what's the problem with this one, you ask? Well, nothing major. It's, well, quite bad actually. Let's have a look. So another engine swap, I'm afraid, because certain components of the engine decided they want to escape, like this little con rod that's sticking out the side of the block. So this is a ZZ 1100 carburetor engine, earlier engine, on a dry sump system as well. I think this is the second engine that's gone in there. Generally, they're pretty reliable normally, but with the dry sump systems, but maybe there were some setup issues, etc. in the sump system. One thing you've got to do about dry sump is making sure if you've got these tanks, making sure you've got the correct amount of oil in there, etc. as well. It's not like the wet sump systems, it's very easy to check. There is a procedure for checking those. So, yeah, this one's going to come out. We've got another engine. Well, it's sitting over there on a stand. You can't see it over there. Another engine, this one out, and a new one in. Westfield time, as you know, we've had this a few weeks now. We've done the brake upgrade on it and a few other bits on the drive shafts, where we've got the Mazda Mark III differential plugged in the rear of this. Had some leaks on the seals. We was looking at all getting drive shafts made and everything else. Well, we've had some new seals made for it, and we're pretty confident that with this tighter fitting seal, because the other ones are quite loose, with this tighter fitting seal and the way it's done and the measurements, it should now cure the oil leak from the diff. So here's a little video showing the differences in the two seals. MX5 NC Westfield stub axle, shaft seal, old NC standard one. This was a brand new seal, loose fit, new seal. As you can see, this is considerably tighter fit. Right, here we are, ExoBusa time. Well, this one's, you've seen we started it, a few weeks back now, of course. And had some problems with the gearbox on it, stripped a few cogs on the gears, went off to RLM, had to get some parts in, RLM, sorted the engine out. It's a Gen 1 Busa, replaced what it needed to be replaced inside there. We've got the engine back only the other week, and we've set about, Adrian's been on it now, putting it all back together. It's a Supercharged, a little TTS performance kit on it. I think it's going to be somewhere around 230, 240 horsepower, I think. I don't know how much boost it's running. It's going to go on the dyno. It's got a new belt on it now, and Adrian's setting about fitting it all in. I'd imagine this is going to be loud. I haven't heard this run, but with that thing on there, that megaphone exhaust, I'd imagine this thing is going to be loud. A couple of other things that we're doing, got a setup on it, was the seats. Now, we put new low-sided seats in there and new harnesses. It only had these... obviously it's a performance car. This is what it had in before, the little standard plug-in clip ones. They're fine, nothing wrong with them, but they just wanted a bit more something substantial, so we've changed them out to some TRS harnesses, which I think you can say definitely look better. Low-sided seats in there as well with seat runners. It didn't have them before because this is what it had. I'll show you. An interesting... something I've never seen, actually. Sometimes you do get baffled in the kit car industry what happens. Well, this is the low-sided seat. It was fixed in position, which is fine, you know, if it sits to your position. But this is the base of the seat. And it had wood bonded in with just wood screws screwed through the aluminium floor into the seat. Now, I don't think that's structurally safe or sound in any way, shape or form if you was to be in an incident or accident to have wood and just wood screws holding the seating. That's the first for me in the 20 odd years in the industry. Wood based seats and wood screws, not ideal, so that's why the customer, and rightfully so, decided to change them out to something where we've got seat runners. It's bolted through the floor pan, we've got bracing underneath there as well and adapters, so it makes it nice and strong and safe inside for the customer in the event of the unfortunate. Now, it's a high powered car, you want to be strapped in and you want your seat to be working for you, but wood screws, come on guys, I think we can do better than that. Right, Zetec Turbo time, Indy RR. As you know, we've been working on this car for the customer as well. Loads of little jobs, some oil leaks and bits and bobs on it. New cam belt, which is here. It's all we replaced. LED headlights on the front, conversion from the little, well, they're like candles, these little dominators. So these have been swapped out to our LED ones with the indicators on them, etc. as well. New carbon boot cover all done, which looks very smart, neat and tidy as well. And it's had some new boots. So it's got the CXRs on it, so he's got a spare set now. CXRs, Toyo R888, and he's also got these Force Racing wheels, etc. as well. They're going, he's got a couple of sets of wheels and tyres. So this one's buttoned up really, waiting to, we get this back to the owner. Well, I would say go and enjoy the sunshine, but it's not. Right, Indy RR S2000, hashtag John's car. Been doing the bits and bobs on this, as you know. One of the jobs was fitting the new Cup 200 nose cone, which has to be modified a little bit because the Cup cars don't have headlight brackets and all of that. They're just a race chassis, so we have to modify and trim around the outside here to make it all nice, fit, neat, tidy, clean, etc. But I think you'll find that looks very smart, looking extremely smart actually. Much more cooling and ducting. This gives us a nice cold air feed into his air filter that's tucked under here. We've got another bonnet coming for this as well because this used to have the throttle bodies poking through here and we've gone back to the standard plenum. So we've got a new bonnet, that should be here, in fact in the next 24 hours. But I think, got to say, when you look at the difference in that car, the stance on it, it makes it look lower, longer, leaner, and it's definitely going to be better for the cooling. Right, here we are, another project that we saw landed with us. Well, what we're on with is wiring. This bird's nest of the CBR loom is all laid in now with ECU, and basically we're just trying to go through the process of isolating. We'll prove the concept and then start stripping the wiring back to get it all running, etc. We've only had a few hours on this so far, getting it in and just isolating stuff, and we're just doing it basically isolating the side stand switch, the tip over sensors and all of those kind of things, checking it out with multimeters, make sure we're getting power through the injectors and everything else, and we wire it up to a temporary ignition on off and start switch here once we've finalised it all, and then we can just prove the concept and then strip it back, reposition everything where it needs to go. So it's work in progress. It's a slow burner, this one. It's not on it, you know, it doesn't need to be done next week or the week after. It's slow burner and we're fitting out in between projects. So yeah, we'll hopefully hear this roar in the next few weeks or so. Right, here we are with the Black Panther. Yes, it's Black Panther time. On with a few bits and bobs on this, as you see with the other week, and the other thing is finalises the design of the dashboard. It's going to have the AIM Digidash in here, and then all the switch gear, battery kill switches, ignition, and brake bias for after IVA will be done. This will be powder coated up, but once it sits inside, finalised design, that'll be on here, and rolled, as the rolled radius edge here for IVA as well, so 19mm radius that you have to have on it for IVA. That will bolt in, it's ready to go. Something similar to what we do on the Cup cars now. You can still do the fiberglass and the GRP ones, etc., but this looks a bit neater and tidier. We're certainly with the AIM dashboard, it's easier to do your design and then print it out onto the aluminium, etc. as well. So something a bit different for this customer. I can't wait. It's thrown together. A little bit custom work for Alex, hashtag Alex is here car, handbrake, stuff like that. We've been fitting all that and all the cables and that's all done, but that stuff you can't really see, it's underneath the car. But this stuff, once it's all in, it's going to look beautiful. Right, K20 time. It's a build that's coming up, and what we're doing is prepping a lot of the parts. We've got a lot of the donor parts, the bits and bobs. One of them's the engine. This had had, basically we're just renewing all the seals and gaskets, so it'll be rear main seal. We've got to put a new one in. It should be on here, which we'll do before we put the clutch and everything on. Rocker cover gaskets, gaskets in here, which is on the Zetec, will be changed as well. But a few seals and gaskets, throttle bodies, gaskets and all of that. So once we put it all together, put all new seals, new gaskets, we prep the engine, give it a little more of a clean up to make it a little bit neater and tidier. Final job, Joseph's just been on with the top bit here and the rocker cover will go on. So yeah, get them bolted together, but again, you'll see this progress, this build. The chassis upstairs, having its brake lines, fuel lines and everything done, and then it'll come down here and then we'll start looking to bolt all the motor in as well. So it's another hashtag Collins build, K20, which we love. It's a great screamer engine, awesome, super reliable. What else does it say other than love a Honda? Upstairs here on the mez, we're cracing up time. We've already done one last week. We've got another one here going into Ohio. So this one's going out to hashtag Chad. We're just crating it up here. Chassis and all the component parts are getting put into the extra large crate. Unfortunately, it's a big old thing because of the side impact bars. Bigger than a normal crate, but we can make them to different sizes. That's not an issue, and we can ship it pretty much anywhere in the world then once it's in a box. So yeah, that's getting done up and that will go off to him and across the pond. Right, on with out with the crate, in with a chassis. Chassis register time, well, where is it this week, Anna? It's up that side this week, guys. If you want to get yourself in the queue, you know where you need to do. Hook us up, phone call, email, or pop down here to the showroom. Right, don't forget to tune in next week, guys, where we go special feature, special video, MSD Live, where we get to show you about the event, if you've never been there, and what it's like to be on track in these cars. The Cup 200 car even was there, and we did a little debut. This car was 66 before, it's now car number 2, and you'll see that in the video. So Cup car number 1 and number 2 at a cracking event. Can't wait to show you the video. That's it, guys, for this week. Like, share, subscribe. Adios.
That was different.